I bring you fire.
I take you to burn. Fire. I take you to learn.
We're gonna demilitarize the BLM, the IRS, all of these different groups. You don't need special operations guys working in these different groups, and that should scare the hell out of you.
There's no constitutional authority for the Department of Education, Department of Agriculture, and all these three-letter agencies that they have.
Balanced budget amendment. The only way you're gonna get the national debt down is with the balanced budget amendment. That's it. 34 states, according to me, I just sent John Boehner a letter about 3 weeks ago that said, hey, let's see if 2/3 of the states request a balanced budget amendment, does that trip the wire for a constitutional convention? Okay, because if it does, we could try, and we'll talk, obviously this is much discussion, because you don't know what can happen at that constitutional convention. That's the argument, right? What if a bunch of crazy stuff happens? But we think that we can set the parameters so we can try to get a balanced budget amendment, okay? And if Republicans take the Senate, constitutionalists take the Senate, we're gonna try to get a balanced budget amendment. That's the only way you're gonna bring the national debt down, period, okay?
Anybody that votes for any budget, that votes yes on a budget that has all this unconstitutional spending in it, they're violating their oath of office. It's that simple. And they do it all the time. If there's no constitutional authority for the program, then it should not exist. And if these people actually think that they're obeying their oath of office, and we have a $4 trillion budget with the deficits and the debt of $17 trillion, then I'm going to start up a constitutional class for them.
Is there anything we can do to retrieve some of that power that we've turned over to these bureaucracies?
So we need to get the power of the purse back to where we can say, BLM, not only are we going to reform you, we're going to cut the hell out of you, specifically in certain places, okay?
And so what would I do as a congressman? Well, I just tell people to disobey. It's time to disobey.
Okay, 3 quick questions. 2 of them require only a simple yes or no. First question, do you think Congress right now, today, complies with the restrictions in the Constitution?
Yes.
In that case then, if Congress complies with all of the restrictions in the Constitution, why are we in such a crackerjack now? Why are we $17 trillion in debt when we have so many unconstitutional
Because there's no balanced budget
programs?
amendment.
Oh wait, okay, for my third question. We're in terrible debt right now because Congress does not comply with all of the restrictions. We have so many unconstitutional programs that are costing us trillions of dollars. So the third question being, if Congress does not comply with the constitutional restrictions that we have right now, how does changing the Constitution with a balanced budget amendment help anything? They don't follow the Constitution as written. Don't blame the Constitution for our problems. Blame where the blame goes. And that's with the congressmen who do not take their oath of office seriously.
Okay, thank you. So here's what you got. If you look back, we were borrowing money for wars 200 years ago. Okay, the Constitution does not stop Congress from overspending. Okay, there's nowhere in there where it says don't overspend. You have to have a balanced budget amendment to force Congress to balance the books every year. It's that simple. There's no other way to do it. You cannot hold back government without putting it explicitly in the Constitution, because government is there to grow. It's a self-licking ice cream cone, and it will move and it will expand. It will expand no matter how hard you try to stop it, unless you put it explicitly in the Constitution.
Now, a balanced budget amendment. California has a balanced budget requirement. It's the Constitution. California finds a way to get around that. What do? They pay people with vouchers, or they issue bonds. They sell bonds. And these bonds are another form of taxation. And in fact, the Santee School bond in 2006 that was passed with a new change in the law, about 55%, those bonds, many of them, are going to end up, one of them issued at $30 million, is going to end up over $500 million when it comes time for payment. And those are balloon payments. They're capital appreciation bonds. Now, what's the federal government doing? If they do pass a balanced budget amendment, somebody made a comment about they don't pay attention to the Constitution. Well, that's true. There's a few things they do, term limits they pay attention to, and we ought to be afraid that they might pay attention to a balanced budget amendment. Because what are they going to do to balance their budget? Cut their spending? No. Take more from us. Folks, I'm Michael Benoit, and I'm running for Congress in the 50th District, but I'm not running against Duncan Hunter. Not in the primary. In the primary, I'm running against a Democrat. Because in this primary, we've got a district that's set up with 142,000 Republicans, 82,000 Democrats, and 93,000 declared to state other parties. So the others outnumber the Democrats in this district. And if you vote for me in the primary, Duncan Hunter's still going to be in the general election. Okay? He got 70,000 votes in the last primary. The next guy got 17,000, the Democrat. So I need to get 20,000 votes to beat that Democrat. And I will push these issues.
I bring you